He had a good salary, but one emergency broke him. He looked financially stable. Good salary, nice apartment, decent car, regular dinners out. A life that looked completely under control. Then one emergency arrived. Not a luxury purchase, not a bad investment, not some huge mistake, just one normal emergency. A car repair, a medical bill, a family situation, the kind of thing that happens to ordinary people every single day. But for him, that one bill exposed everything. No emergency fund, no backup account, no real plan, just a credit card waiting in the background. And within 1 week, a person who looked financially stable suddenly felt completely broke. Today, we are going to perform a financial autopsy on the emergency fund trap. Because an emergency fund may not make you rich, but without one bad week can make you broke. Let's call him Ryan. Ryan earns around $7,500 a month after tax. From the outside, he looks like someone who is doing well. He pays his rent. He makes his car payment. He keeps up with his credit card bills. He goes out with friends. He even tells himself he is responsible because he is not missing payments. But Ryan makes one dangerous mistake. He confuses income with security. Income means money is coming in. Security means your life does not collapse when money suddenly needs to go out. Those are not the same thing. Ryan has income, but he does not have a financial shield. Every month, he assumes the next paycheck will fix everything. If the month gets tight, he tells himself, "It is okay. I get paid soon." That mindset works until life stops waiting for payday. The problem is not that Ryan earns too little. The problem is that every dollar already has a job before it arrives. Rent, car, food, subscriptions, social plans, minimum payments, small luxuries. Nothing is assigned to protection. So when an emergency finally arrives, there is no money ready for it. The emergency begins with something simple. Ryan's car needs repairs. The mechanic says the total will be $1,400. Ryan is annoyed, but at first he does not panic. He earns good money. He tells himself he can handle it. Then he opens his banking app. That is when the truth appears. He has a salary, but he does not have savings. He has cash flow, but he does not have a cushion. He has credit, but he does not have protection. So the car repair goes on the credit card. A few days later, a medical bill comes in. Another $650. Then he helps a family member with $400. Then he misses a payment on another bill and gets hit with a fee. In less than 2 weeks, one emergency becomes a chain reaction. This is the real danger of having no emergency fund. The first bill is not always the problem. The problem is what the first bill forces you to do next. Ryan does not just pay for the emergency. He finances the emergency. Then he pays interest on the emergency. Then the interest reduces next month's income. Then next month becomes even tighter. That is how one bad week turns into months of financial stress. Ryan thought his credit card was his backup plan. But a credit card is not an emergency fund. It is borrowed money with a timer attached. When cash savings are missing, every surprise gets converted into debt. Car repair, credit card. Medical bill, credit card. Flight emergency, credit card. Family help, credit card. Phone repair, credit card. And at first it feels like the problem is solved because the bill is paid. But the problem did not disappear. It moved. Now Ryan has a new monthly payment, new interest, new pressure, less room in next month's budget. This is how emergencies become debt cycles. According to Bankrate's 2026 Emergency Savings Report, only 47% of Americans said they had enough liquidity or access to funds to cover a $1,000 emergency expense. That means more than half would need another route, such as borrowing, cutting expenses, or using credit. The Federal Reserve's Survey of Household Economics and Decision-Making also shows why this matters. In 2025, 63% of adults said they would cover a $400 emergency expense using cash or its equivalent. The numbers may change by year, but the lesson stays the same. If you do not build a buffer before the emergency will build debt for you. Most people think the cost of an emergency is the amount on the bill. If the repair is $1,400, they think the cost is $1,400. But without an emergency fund, the real cost is bigger. The first hidden cost is interest. If Ryan puts the bill on a credit card and cannot pay it off quickly, the emergency starts charging him every month. The second hidden cost is stress. Money stress makes everything feel heavier: work, relationships, sleep, decisions, and even small daily expenses. The third hidden cost is missed opportunity. Money that could have gone into savings, investing, or debt repayment now goes toward fixing a crisis that should have been prepared for. The fourth hidden cost is decision pressure. When Ryan has no buffer, he cannot calmly choose the best solution. He chooses the fastest solution. Fast solutions are often expensive solutions. This is why emergency funds are not exciting, but they are powerful. They do not make you look rich. They do not impress anyone online. They do not feel dramatic. But they create one thing that financially stressed people desperately need: breathing room. So why does Ryan not have an emergency fund? It is not because he does not understand emergencies exist. It is because emergencies feel far away until they arrive. Now let's examine the damage. Before the emergency, Ryan had $0 in emergency savings. Then the first bill arrived, $1,400 for the car repair. Then $650 for a medical bill. Then $400 to help family. Then $120 in late fees and small charges because his cash flow became tight. That is $2,570 of pressure in a short period of time. If Ryan had a $3,000 emergency fund, this would be stressful, but manageable. Without a fund, the entire situation becomes debt. This is the difference between an inconvenience and a financial crisis. The same emergency can create two completely different outcomes, depending on whether there is cash prepared. Person 1 has an emergency fund. They pay the bill, feel frustrated, and then rebuild the fund. Person 2 has no emergency fund. They use credit, pay interest, fall behind, and spend the next several months trying to recover. That is the real lesson. The emergency did not create Ryan's financial weakness. It revealed it. So how does Ryan fix this? He does not need to become cheap. He needs to become prepared. Step 1. Start with a starter emergency fund. Not 6 months, not a perfect number, just a first target. Ryan starts with $500. Then $1,000. The goal is to stop small emergencies from becoming credit card debt. Step 2. Separate the money. If emergency savings sit in the same account as spending money, they will disappear into normal life. Ryan creates a separate savings account and labels it emergency fund. Step 3. Automate it. He does not wait to save whatever is left. He moves money to the emergency fund the moment he gets paid. Even $100 or $200 per paycheck can change the pattern if it happens consistently. Step 4. Define what counts as an emergency. A medical bill is an emergency. A car repair can be an emergency. A job loss is an emergency. A sale is not an emergency. A vacation is not an emergency. A new phone upgrade is usually not an emergency. Step 5. Build in stages. After $1,000, Ryan aims for 1 month of essential expenses. Then 3 months. Eventually, depending on his situation, he may work toward 3 to 6 months of essential expenses. That kind of target is commonly suggested as a longer-term emergency savings goal, but the right number depends on income stability, family responsibilities, health, debt, and personal circumstances. Step 6. Refill it after use. An emergency fund is not a trophy. It is a tool. If Ryan uses it, the next goal is to rebuild it before returning to lifestyle upgrades. Step 7. Prepare for irregular expenses separately. Some costs are not emergencies. They are predictable but irregular. Car maintenance, annual insurance, school expenses, holidays, gifts, and travel should not surprise him every year. Ryan creates separate sinking funds for those costs, so the emergency fund remains for real emergencies. This is how he stops living financially surprised. Ryan's story is not rare. For many people, it feels familiar. A good salary, a normal lifestyle, bills paid on time. Everything looks fine. Until one emergency arrives and exposes the truth. Financial stability is not proven by how confident life looks when everything is normal. It is proven by what happens when something goes wrong. That is why an emergency fund matters. It does not make you rich overnight. It does not make you look successful. It does not create instant wealth. But it protects the wealth you are trying to build. It keeps a bad week from becoming a bad year. It gives you options when life gets expensive. And most importantly, it gives you breathing room. So tonight, ask yourself one simple question. If a $1,000 emergency happened tomorrow, would I be prepared? Or would I have to borrow from my future to survive my present? Because the emergency is not the only thing that matters. What matters is whether you built the system before it arrived.